Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your morning daily cybersecurity threat briefing. First things first, presented by Barricade Cyber Solutions, your partner for incident response, ransomware protection, and business recovery. I'm your host, Gerald Auger, and over the next 30 minutes, we are going to be absolutely ripping apart the top cybersecurity stories of the day. I'll be giving my professional expert, some people might say, analysis on those stories and what you can do to make use of them, whether you're a practitioner or a student looking to break into the field. But if you're watching on replay, scrub right down to the 000 in the bottom left corner, unless you like some pre-show banter, because that's what we're going to be doing for the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds, saying good morning and hello to everybody in chat. Good morning, Lupe. I saw you registered for that course. Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying it. Hey, Jack Scott, I saw your VetSec.org t-shirt. Looking good. Pamela, very good to see you. Guys, I was running. Hey, Wes L, thanks for the sub. Guys, I was running like not late, but running hot this morning. So I haven't even had, this is literally first sip of coffee. Let's get into this, huh? Oh, that's the good stuff. Give it to me. Hey, InfoSec Live, I see you over there in the UK. Yes, Roger, living in the low country. You know about this London-esque weather we're dealing with right now. What's up, Hackbauer? Good to see you. Peter Parker, always in chat. I love it. Ryan, I saw you register for that class. Thank you. 33% through. I love it. Ryan, any initial thoughts on the class? I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're getting value. That's really my underlying mission with that course, is to deliver value to the community. Hey, Toby, I see you. Josh Mason, loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Jeanette Fowler, I see you. Josh Smith. Josh Smith, by the way, saw him post on, or Joshua Smith, saw him post on LinkedIn. Just hired a new GRC analyst onto his team, and they're going through the GRC analyst course together. So genuinely appreciate that. I hope it delivers value to your organization. Hey, Phil Patrick, good to see you. I hope you guys are hearing the roots. Let me know if you hear the music in chat. You guys know, it's a day that ends in Y. So there's a 50-50 shot, like a 20-side die roll of whether or not we're going to have audio issues. Hey, Aaron, good to see you. Wes L. Oh, Wes, third time with us, buddy. Settle in. By the way, guys, didn't know this until I checked yesterday. Monday was our 100th episode of First Things First. So if you've been here since the beginning, cheers to you. We've done it. We crossed triple digits, 100. So this is 102 episodes of First Things First. Also, I do want to really make it apparent what my coffee situation was. I knew what it was going to be like this morning, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get away from this computer once I got going, so had to double down with the coffee today. So you will see me switching as we are ripping through the stories. All right, looks like the time went up. Everybody, thanks for being here. We're at 49 strong. Let's get into the top stories of the day and really enjoy it. Can barely hear the music. That's fine. It's supposed to be just kind of subtle background. All right, let's get into it, guys. If you want to play along and you're new here and you don't know, we go to cisoseries.com. David Spark and his group over there, they do a fantastic job of curating the news, so people like me can launch First Things First and be able to provide the analysis and reflection on those stories. So if you'd like to follow along, go on to the website and check out the stories. And if you want to just relax, sit back and listen to the velvety tones of my voice while we rip through the stories, let's do that too. All right, let's get into it.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Wednesday, March 16th, 2022. More destructive wiper malware strikes Ukraine. On March 14th, researchers at ESET announced on Twitter that they've discovered new malware dubbed Caddy Wiper, the third wiper discovered by the firm in as many weeks, being used to attack Ukraine. ESET noted that Caddy Wiper, which so far has only been observed on a few dozen systems in a limited number of organizations, does not share any significant code similarities with Hermetic Wiper or Isaac Wiper. While Caddy Wiper erases user data and partition information, ESET notes that it avoids wiping information on Windows domain controllers.
Interesting. Okay, so according to this, they are using GPOs which is kind of the way that you can use Active Directory to push policy down onto systems in order to spread. It also says that it's avoiding domain controllers. So really quick, we talked about wipers on the stream before. There's the Hermetic wiper. There was the Whispergate. These are attacks, allegedly, again, because I'm not 100% sure if it's been attributed, but we all assume it's attacks from the Russian military onto the Ukrainian forces or the government or the country, where it basically just deletes everything, right? And that might just sound kind of crude, but if you went to your computer this morning and hit power and it just came up with a black screen, you'd obviously be unable to work, and there would be, you'd lose all your previous data unless you had backups, and you have to go through all the process of restoring, and it's a big pain, it's inconvenient, and you're not being productive, which is really the goal. What's interesting about this is it doesn't look anything like Hermetic Wiper or Whispergate, according to the story. And it's important to note here for just a minute, and I know this is the first story, so we're still getting the engine warmed up, guys. It's in the driveway warming up. One thing that you should know, look up David Bianco's Pyramid of Pain if you are not familiar with it. It's David Bianco Pyramid of Pain. And essentially what it is a pyramid, a triangle, and the higher up the triangle you go, the more devastating or impactful it is to a threat actor if you burn it down, right? Like, for example, file hashes are at the bottom. It's very, very easy to modify a file and recompile it, or, not even compile it, just have it interpreted. And it has a different hash, right? So that's very, very low stakes. But at the top is called TTPs. And this is like the style that the developer writes the malware in, or the approach to wiping operating systems that they use. So what's interesting is in this story, they say it doesn't show any similarities to those wipers, which would indicate strongly that a different group wrote those wipers, which to me implies that there are many factions working on these wipers, since this is the third one, working independently of each other. So really building up an arsenal of those type of malware. So this might not be the last one we see of it, honestly. And the fact that it evades domain controllers is interesting to me. Chat, I'm curious, for those who are a bit senior in the industry, I don't see the value in avoiding the domain controllers, because if you're wiping endpoints, like, clearly there's a problem, right? It's a very overt attack. There's nothing espionage-esque of it. When you're wiping endpoint, you know that you've got wipers malware going on in the environment, right? Like maybe one or two, you're like, oh, maybe it's failed computer. When it's like the entire Munich office, like, it's a problem. So anyways, I whatever. We'll see how it goes.
German security agency recommends replacing Kaspersky antivirus. The German Federal Office for Information Security Agency, aka BSI, recommends consumers uninstall Kaspersky antivirus software, warning of elevated risks in light of the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine. Specifically, BSI warns that Kaspersky antivirus software or its IT infrastructure could knowingly or unknowingly be exploited as part of offensive cyber operations. The alert pointed out that antivirus software operates with high privileges on machines and, if compromised, could allow an attacker to take them over. BSI has recommended, quote, replacing applications from Kaspersky's virus protection software portfolio with alternative products, end quote.
Yeah, this video will always be a video available on replay, Aaron, so definitely take that call. Okay, guys, so the German government is basically saying don't use Kaspersky. Better late than never, I guess, Germany. So in 2017, the United States basically banned Kaspersky antivirus on federal IT. And the idea is they're not saying that Kaspersky himself or the Kaspersky organization is a front agent for the Russian government, or a sleeper agent, or it's really installing high privilege software disguised like a Trojan as antivirus. What they're saying is, if the Russian government knocks on Kaspersky's front door and says, let us in, they're going to let them in. If they say, give us access to everything, they're going to give them access to everything. Like, based on what we're seeing happen over in Russia right now, there's no reason to suspect that wouldn't happen. So the idea is antivirus software has to run with elevated privileges, which means it can do a lot of things because it needs to do a lot of things, frankly, right? When it quarantines executables that seem malicious, it needs the permissions to do that. Just like a double-edged sword, though, if this executable running with high permissions is going to be abused, it can kind of run in a true like espionage-esque fashion, or as a wiper or whatever, or pull down other stuff. So the German government, as with the United States, is just saying it's a high risk to have this potential software product on your system, and it's not allowed anymore. This also echoes the entire, like, everybody's pulling out, every business is pulling out of Russia. It really echoes that, where you're kind of pariah state kind of method, where you're just sectioning it off and just removing it altogether from the environment.
HackerOne apologizes to Ukrainian hackers for blocking payouts. On Tuesday, Chris Evans, the CISO of bug bounty platform HackerOne, apologized to Ukrainian hackers after erroneously blocking their bug bounty payouts following sanctions imposed on Russia and Belarus after Ukraine's invasion. The company confused matters by stating in a now-deleted tweet that the company would reroute all rewards earned by hackers in sanctioned areas to UNICEF. HackerOne has since restored access to Ukrainian accounts and is working to fix payment issues while clarifying that rewards would only be donated upon explicit instruction from the hacker. Evans added that HackerOne will publish an FAQ page within 24 hours to share more information about what happened.
Yeah, this was a really bad look for HackerOne 2 days ago, or I guess 3 days ago. I thought it was 2 days ago when I heard about it. So HackerOne is a bug bounty platform. We talked with Pink Draconian on stream last Thursday about bug bounty platforms. It's a great model, right? It allows businesses to find out about security vulnerabilities in a controlled way, and it allows the security researcher community the ability to find bugs in a way that doesn't get them arrested. HackerOne's a big one in the United States. They basically weren't paying out Ukrainians, like they were kind of sanctioning them. It was a hideous look. I don't know exactly why they were doing that. I don't know if it was like some confusion or some inner turmoil within the HackerOne community. I don't know, or within the HackerOne company. But the good news is they got it sorted out, and they're paying those Ukrainians, and it sounds like they're actually like going one step further and making donations to UNICEF, probably to save face and publicly apologize, essentially, just to avoid that bad pub, because this was a really hideous look for them when it happened.
FTC to find Cafe Press for cover-up of massive data breach. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission announced plans to slap Cafe Press custom t-shirt and merchandise site with a $500,000 fine for a breach that affected over 23 million of its users. Instead of responsibly informing customers about the breach, Cafe Press instead closed the users' accounts and charged them each a $25 account closure fee. The FTC explained that Cafe Press stored customer social security numbers and password reset answers in plain text and retained user data for longer than necessary. As part of the proposed settlement, Cafe Press will be required to implement multi-factor authentication, minimize data collection and retention, and encrypt social security numbers stored on its servers. And here's a word from our sponsor.
Okay. What are these jokers up to? Okay, so a couple of things going on here. One, whoever's in charge of Cafe Press, I guess it's not fair for me to just disparage them, but this seems like such a boneheaded move. So listen, they get hacked. They get, I think, 18,000 of their customers, which, by the way, real quick, let's just talk about the business model. Cafe Press is a company that allows people to put graphics on t-shirts, sweatshirts, whatever, and then you can do like just-in-time shipping. So your customers or whatever, like, okay, so Simply Cyber, right? I want to get this shirt made, or I got this shirt made, and you guys want the shirt too. So I set up Cafe Press, and they get a taste of every shirt that I sell. Okay, makes sense. They get that data breached, including social security numbers, and these clowns, their response is to not tell anyone and then shut those users' accounts down, like the Simply Cyber account, shut it down, and then charge me $25 back fee for shutting it down. Get out of here with that, man. What are you up to? Like, this is such a dumb, like, this is such an idiot way to respond to a breach. Cover it up and then on top of it, charge your customers who did nothing wrong. That they literally are the victims in this instance, you fools. So good on the FTC for having the consumers back in this thing. I'll tell you what. I use Spreadshirt for the merch on Simply Cyber, which I don't really push anyways, but I guarantee you I will never use Cafe Press. This is such a bad look. This is like Wednesday, March 16th. The news of the day is bad looks for companies. Jesus. All right.
Varonis. Varonis will help Russian state-backed hackers gained access to a non-governmental organization cloud by exploiting a misconfigured setting within the organization's Duo multi-factor authentication platform. The hackers used credentials obtained in a brute force password attack to access an inactive but not yet disabled Active Directory account. From there, the hackers used RDP to connect to Windows domain controllers and then moved laterally to gain access to cloud storage and email accounts to exfiltrate data. On Tuesday, the FBI and CISA jointly advised orgs to enforce MFA, ensuring to protect against fail open and re-enrollment scenarios, to disable inactive AD and MFA accounts, and prioritize patching of known exploited vulnerabilities.
Okay. Stand back. Okay, stand back. Are you joking me with this? Did you just hear what this story just said? Okay, listen to what this story just said. Okay, they use a password that they either brute forced or they got from a data dump. They used it to access an account that was not active but still enabled, right? So, okay, so many flaws with this. Then they somehow got through the Duo multi-factor authentication. I'm not saying that Duo is a bad multi-factor authentication. It simply is a token. I don't know what the vulnerability is. I was so beside myself by how silly this story was that I stopped listening to the Duo part of it. I will point out, I'm going to throw shade real quick. Cisco did buy Duo a couple years ago. Traditionally when Cisco buys a product, there's a history there. I'll just leave it at that. So not saying anything about Duo, but check it out. When a user quits, yes, you don't want to just delete their account because there is like tentacles going out all over the place. Maybe they have a OneDrive directory with files that are important, or, for the audit logs, you want to keep it, tight so you could track something back if you had to. But there's no reason to keep the account enabled. The second someone quits, you should disable their account. That is like standard practice. That's like identity and access management 101. Why are you keeping that account active? Oh, I know. So threat actors can log in to your environment with it and have no one know. And then they RDP to the domain controller. Okay, I'm not totally against RDP when you're inside the environment, but Active Directory has Active Directory users and computers. There's all sorts of tools for administrators to be able to manage Active Directory. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a domain admin or like a senior Windows environment system admin. So I don't know if that's the best practice to RDP, but I feel like in 2022, there's enough tool sets for you to operate in the Active Directory as a domain admin if you really need to be a domain admin, using tool sets that aren't RDPing into the box. Okay, so there was a massive amount of breakdown here. But, standard practice, guys. Strong, like, it's not hard. Strong passwords, disable accounts. Thank God they have multi-factor. Like, it's embarrassing when the response to your attack is enable multi-factor authentication. Like, you should be ashamed of yourself, or the CISO should be fired, because multi-factor in 2022 isn't an option. It's a requirement. Okay. I'm all spicy today, guys.
Government sites taken offline in large-scale cyber attack. Israeli government websites were taken offline Monday in what is being described as the largest ever distributed denial of service attack to be launched against the country. The cyber attack took down the websites of Israel's Prime Minister's office and its Interior, Health, Justice, and Welfare ministries, while a local newspaper implicated Iran as the responsible threat actor amidst ongoing tensions between the two countries. All affected websites now appear to be operational.
Yep.
However, the Israeli government has declared a state of emergency to study the extent of the damage caused by the attack.
All right. I won't spend a terrible amount of time on this. Listen, Israel is a top tier cyber power. Okay, I'm just gonna let you guys know. If you don't know that, Israel, small country, big power, right? They know cybersecurity inside and out. They like great products coming out of Israel. If you see a product, cybersecurity product that's coming out of Israel, like I would bet money that mattered to me that it's a good product. Okay, so how can they suffer an attack? Well, guys, denial of service attacks, you can't really stop, right? Like especially distributed denial of service where you're basically just pushing a ton of data at your target. So the reason that they say things are back up now is because the denial of service attack ended. And it's like I always use the analogy. It's like opening a fire hydrant on the street corner and the water's just blasting out and you're like getting hit in the face. Well, eventually you turn the water off, right? Like, or the person has to actively hold the wrench open to keep the water up. And when their arm gets tired, the wrench slides down and the water stops and then you're fine to walk around. So, whatever. Israel was flexed on. They had some websites down for a little bit. I'm sure it did not significantly impact the operations of the country in any way. So it is what it is.
New Linux botnet exploits Log4j. A newly discovered malware botnet, which researchers have dubbed what I can only hope to correctly pronounce as BitTor20, spelled B1TXOR20, leverages vulnerable Apache Log4j libraries to exploit Linux ARM x64 CPU architecture devices. Researchers at Kihu 360 NetLab used a honeypot to capture multiple malware samples, which they found to be capable of creating backdoors and rootkits, serving as a SOX 5 proxy, downloading other malware, stealing data, and executing arbitrary commands. What makes the BitTor20 malware stand out is the use of DNS tunneling for communicating with its C2 server, an old but reliable technique used by threat actors to tunnel malware and data via DNS queries.
Wow. Okay, so guys, this graphic, there's a lot going on in this graphic. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around what's going on in this graphic, and appreciate why it's a Log4j attack. Or is this about how it's communicating over C2 over DNS for C2? I don't know. I'd have to look at this. It's either too early or this isn't a really well developed graphic because I'm having a tough time with it. It looks like it's got 3 different kind of mechanisms for communicating over DNS. So if one gets blocked or it's not available or doesn't resolve, it looks like right here they've actually got a hard-coded IP address, which, again, going back to the pyramid of pain, it's easy to block a single IP address, right? And then they're using UDP. If you've been taking the GRC analyst course and you've gone through module 1, you know about UDP and TCP, so this should look familiar to you. So anyways, I guess all I'll say about this is 2 things. One, Log4j is still being attacked, right? You guys remember Log4j. Remember when the world was on fire for about 48 hours back in December because of Log4j? It's still being actively exploited, it seems. Second thing I want to point out, and we don't talk about this on the channel very often, or first things first, the researchers are able to know that the exploitation is occurring. The researchers are able to know that they're using DNS tunneling for C2 communications because they set up honeypots. And I've done honeypots on Simply Cyber before, not in any like well-structured way to like share how to do it for yourself, but I've done it on the channel. But a honeypot just sits there and it basically actively says, hey, attack me, attack me, attack me. And bad guys don't know the difference between a honeypot and, NVIDIA's corporate infrastructure. They'll just attack everything, unless you're like a nation state level actor and you're doing espionage and you're obviously targeting. But for the most part, cyber criminals, they just wholesale spray and hope for, crown jewels. Honeypots allow us to analyze and study what bad guys are doing, their techniques, get those malware samples, put them up in a virus total, get those signatures, right? This is how we are able to get these type of stories. So, if you're interested in that as an individual, check out honeypots and check out the work that security researchers are doing with honeypots. And you might be pleasantly surprised how far down the rabbit hole you go on that one.
Report uncovers alarming level of alert fatigue in cloud environments. Orcus Security commissioned a global cross-industry study among IT decision makers to examine the current state of cloud security alert fatigue. The report revealed that security teams are inundated with cloud security alerts, with 59% of respondents receiving more than 500 cloud security alerts per day. The survey showed that monitoring alerts is causing burnout, with roughly 60% of respondents indicating that alert fatigue has contributed to staff turnover and has also created internal friction. The report also shows a false sense of confidence, with more than 95% responding that they feel confident or very confident with their tooling, despite 43% of respondents indicating that more than 40% of alerts are false positives, roughly half saying more than 40% of alerts are low priority, and more than half of respondents indicating that critical alerts are being missed.
Wow.
And that
so mods, I can't see chat. Hopefully they drop this report into chat. I'm going to put it in mod chat really quick. Like if it wasn't dropped in chat, this looks like a really good report. I'm just looking at it. Again, with these vendor reports, you really want to be careful about the bias that's built into it. So take that with a grain of salt. But this seems to be kind of vendor agnostic and more just calling attention to alert fatigue. I could do an entire show just about like what this report's talking about, guys. I would encourage you to go pull this report and look at it. There's a couple interesting takeaways that are coming out right away for me. One, we talk about this all the time. If you're in chat right now and you're a blue teamer, you know this: alert fatigue, mental health, grind. Guys, when you're getting like fire, like alert, and you got to look at it. It gets exhausting, especially if it's like it has inklings of a real attack. If anyone has ever worked real incident response, and someone like Eric Taylor, you might be desensitized to it at this point, but when you work incident response and like a real attack happens and you find it and you are now moving on it, it's very exhilarating, right? There's like a bit of a adrenaline dump. I always say, like, I'll always text like this group chat I have of other CISOs and be like, the game is afoot. Like it's very exciting, right? It's very fun. But for the other 80% of the time when they're false positives or stuff, you get that dump and then you realize it's fake. Sometimes it's hard to disprove a negative, right? Like, how do you know for a fact that it's actually not a real attack? Are the bad guys really that good at hiding what they're doing or disguising it? So it talks about alert fatigue. So that's a really interesting. Also, another thing that jumped out to me right away, people always ask me, like, Jerry, what should I do about cloud? Should I study cloud? And I always say, like, yeah, cloud's a huge area of opportunity in the industry. Like, if you go for cloud, you will be more marketable because there's a massive adoption in industry of corporate to go to cloud or move some level of service to cloud. And I always advise pick AWS or Azure, and really AWS more if you want to go work for big tech, because that's the ones who are using AWS mostly. And then Azure if you're going to work pretty much anywhere else, because so many businesses are just moving to Azure instead of upgrading their existing AD infrastructure. Okay, Microsoft makes it very appealing for you to move. The numbers here reflect that 68% of platforms used are AWS and 66% are Azure. Now, I don't know what the scope of this study is, how many respondents they selected. They do have multiple countries here, so it was a global survey. So I would assume this is a global, audience. We see Alibaba here, which is China's version of Amazon AWS. So anyways, this just reinforces that I'm not full of crap when I say pick AWS or Azure if you want to go cloud, because that's where the market is. And that's where people are going to hire for skills, right? That's what's going on here. All right. So that is going to do it for March 16th, Wednesday, hump day. All right, guys, now check it out real quick. If you are interested in getting pay what you can education from an absolute legend in the industry, John Strand will be doing an in-person, but you can take it remotely. Just he'll be like live teaching on SOC core skills. We just talked about alert fatigue and burnout and all that other stuff. He's going to teach you the skills that you need to be able to tell if it's a true positive or a false positive, how to tune your tools, how to live a healthy, physically mental life as a SOC analyst. This dude, I keep calling him Cyber Beyonce. He's a legend in the industry, and this is going to be a pay what you can model. If you don't know who John Strand is, don't Google him because someone else will come up, and it's kind of funny, but he's an OG in the industry. And if you want to take this training, I think it's March 28th, the week of March 28th. It's 4 days, 4 hours a day. Just go and sign up. I'll provide a link. But if you come to the live stream on Thursday, John will tell you what you can expect from the class and how great it is. And I have no doubt. That's why I'm bringing him on, because I want people to know about this opportunity the same way I want them to know about the GRC Analyst Masterclass that we will be doing a raffle for in just a minute here, people, for those sticking around. So make sure you go over to the YouTube stream of First Things First in order to be able to enter the raffle. Guys, really quick, I want to just celebrate some wins. The GRC Analyst Masterclass currently has, we launched it this week. We have 1,176 students who have enrolled in the school, right? And 834 students have actively started taking the class. So we have 834 people who have decided to learn how to be a GRC analyst or improve their GRC analyst skill set. And, like on the Discord and in the class chat, people are cheering each other on and celebrating their wins. So like, it's really going well. And I'm super, super proud and super excited. So if you're interested in that, go to simplycyber.io/courses and it'll walk you through enrolling. It is a pay what you can model, very similar to John's model. Actually, it was inspired by John. It was inspired by John's pay what you can model. I made that conscious decision because he is inspiring and I was inspired. So I did it. Okay. So let's do a quick raffle for 4 seats in the GRC Analyst Masterclass right now. So let's go over to here. You guys can do it with me live. Okay. Giveaways. Keyword. #GRC. Only enter once, guys. Only enter once. #GRC. Only enter once. Let's get ready. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, type #GRC and see if you guys start piping in here. I assume that you're going. I see Jax is in there. Cookie, Anna Hogan. All right, there you go. All right, I'll give it a minute while you guys queue up. We're going to pick 4. These seats are compliments of Barricade Cyber Solution. Eric Taylor reached out to me right before I launched the class, and he said, Jerry, I love what you're doing with this analyst class. I love just what you do for the community. He's a sponsor. Well, his company is a sponsor of First Things First currently in order to help support and get this message out. And he bought 20 licenses to the course and wants to raffle them off to us every day this week. So we'll be doing it. We did it yesterday and Monday. We'll do it today, tomorrow, and Friday. So, thank you to Eric and Barricade Cyber Solutions. Also, I see we've got 37 people in there right now. There's 94 in chat. So keep on #GRC if you want to enter the raffle. One final thing that I'll share with you guys. I can pair Simply Cyber's YouTube channel with other content providers. So last night, Eric Taylor went live on Barricade Cyber Solutions YouTube channel, and I paired Simply Cyber. So you may have seen last night, Simply Cyber went live, and it was Eric Taylor presenting. He was broadcasting to his streams, and Simply Cyber picked it up. Think of it as like an affiliate channel picking up something to broadcast it. I'm going to do that more if he's interested, if others are interested, because he's bringing a deeper technical dive on very specific CISA advisories in the case of last night. So it complements what we do on Simply Cyber. It doesn't duplicate what we do on Simply Cyber. So I was excited about it. So if you happen to see Simply Cyber's live and you don't see this mug, that's what's going on. So that's what's the deal is. All right. So let's get this raffle going, everybody. Good luck, everybody. You ready? Here we go. First winner. Pamela. What's up, Pamela? All right, let's get these written down. Nice job, Pamela. Pamela, Simply Cyber community member, and longtime Simply Cyber community member and great person. Good job, Pamela. All right, let's roll on to the next here. Pamela wins. Next winner is Saludin Amo. Saludin. Make sure you connect with me on Discord, the Simply Cyber Discord server, in order to claim your prize. Next winner. Not Only IT, another OG of the Simply Cyber First Things First community. Good to see you, Not Only IT. Congratulations. And our final winner for the day, M. Pina with the dog avatar. That dog's looking happy. I'm a dog person myself. Congratulations, M. Pina. All right, guys. That's going to do it for First Things First. Special thanks to Barricade Cyber Solutions for sponsoring the raffle and the morning stream. Thank you to all of you, all 90 plus of you guys. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., we're going to be diving into it. Tomorrow is Thursday. If you don't know, now you know. Thursdays is cybersecurity stream day. So get your coffee, get your tea, get your popcorn, pack a lunch, get settled in, because we've got First Things First. Then we've got Java with Josh Mason. Then we have Outpost Gray in the afternoon. And then Simply Cyber Live with John Strand. So it's going to be a shift tomorrow. So get some sleep and be ready to rock and roll. That's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks so much, everybody. And until next time, stay secure.